Hello, welcome back to the shop. So today I was playing around with a few things. Thought I'd do a quick video on crimpers. There's a bunch of different types of crimpers. We'll go over three here. There's variations thereof, all three of these, but basically you come down to it, there's essentially three types of crimpers. There's the cheap and everywhere crimper like this. It just has a little grooves here that the connectors would go into. You'd line that up with that size and you would squeeze that. We'll actually crimp some here later and we'll look at the difference between the crimps. So there's that kind, and there's this kind. I've had this pair a long time, it's been through a lot. This kind here is, oh yeah, this does insulated and non-insulated as well. I'm not sure, we'll see how well it works. I've never really used these. They're more basic, get you out of a bind type tools. This guy here has insulated and non-insulated. It's a good crimper. I've crimped couple thousand crimps with this crimper. Nothing wrong with that crimper whatsoever. One thing I will say, there's different varieties of this type of crimper. This happens to be a Klein one. The original one I got was this Channellock one, and you could see that the insulated and non-insulated are actually reversed in positioning. And that makes a big difference, because when you're doing a couple of these in a day, like you might do a few hundred in a day, you gotta really open this thing up to get that hang on here, you gotta really open this thing up to get that in there, and you're fumbling around with it, whereas this one you just open it up and it's in. It's nice and quick. So if I was to buy, not saying there's anything wrong with the Klein tool, it's just I don't find it as fast. You'd obviously have more leverage on the insulated crimp connector with it on the inside here. Seeing there's a pivot point right there, just like in the Channellock. They both have the nice, good, small driven rivet there. That's a good quality tool. But these, they're a little bit more fumbling around to get them in there. So I don't favor the Kleins over the Channellocks. I actually like the Channellocks, and I would suggest the Channellocks over the Kleins, because even here with the non-insulated, because it doesn't have the vinyl over the crimp, you don't have to open it as far to get these in here. You can do it with your hand motion. See if you can just see. I'm not really overextending my hand to get that in there. It's a much more natural feeling tool. So I do favor the Channellocks over the Kleins, because I mean, I really got to extend my hand out here, and you do this, I don't have my hand in the natural position to squeeze. You'd have to re-grip every time. It's really not ideal, and no, I don't have an ideal one here to try. But if you buy one with this style crimper, I would say to try and get one with the non-insulated on the inside and the insulated towards the outside. They're both anvil style cutters, very sharp cutters, even to this day. This is a very nice crimper. Like I said, I crimped a few thousand crimps with this thing, and it's still going strong. So there's that style, and then there's this style where they have dies in them and they ratchet. There's a ratcheting handle, and as you squeeze it, and then you squeeze it all the way, it automatically releases the ratchet. And there's two styles here, non-insulated and insulated. So I thought we'd play around with some crimps and see what the differences are between these. So let me get these wires stripped. We'll try the stripper out on this guy. Stripper actually works really nice on this. It's a pretty nice stripper. I'm not saying this is a bad pliers. You know, you got bolt cutters in here. You got number 4s, that's an unusual size to see. 6, 8, and the 2 sizes of 10, 24 and 32. Get some wire stripped here. Okay. So let's try this guy first, actually, since we have it out. So all you really do is you shove the crimp in. Chances are you're watching this video, you know how to put crimpers together and all that stuff. So let's see here. This says insulated and non-insulated. I believe they're using the same size for everything. So let's see how this squeezes. I don't know if I liked how that felt. Okay. I didn't pull it off. By the way, that's a good way of testing your crimps. I didn't feel like I pulled it off there. Put this guy in. And this you don't have to open up crazy far. It is on the back side, so there's a fair amount of leverage, but I am really squeezing this thing hard. Yeah, there we go. And like I said, this guy was in there like that. Both are here. I'm pulling on both. So let's look at these. You can barely tell where I squeezed it. Some guys will crimp them a few times. That's just pretty flat there. But these crimpers, they just aren't the best. You don't get a lot of leverage. So let's give the other style a try here. I'll use the Channellock one over the Klein, since I favor the Channellock one. Now when I put these in, there's the tab here that sticks out. I personally like to stick that on the back and let this part here be on the front to roll everything. It's personal preference, but here we go, that's in. So you can see that. And I really didn't have to kill that, but you can see now there's a visible divot in the back there, and this has a nice profile on the crimp, whereas that's just basically flat. This has the wires squeezed more into a U shape. It's bent in a way that it's really held in there much better. Let's do the other one here. Okay. And we'll go with the insulated die, part of the die I should say. And again, we're not squeezing super hard. The leverage to squeeze ratio is nice with this tool. You don't kill your hands. And then here again you can see there's a difference between these. This one here is just largely flat, just like this one was largely flat. And this one has, the hooks are bent in. It's very well oriented. Into the wire. It's holding, and same with the insulated side. So you can see that definitely a better crimp with that. And then let's, for the fun of it, we'll try these two fancy ratcheting crimpers. Same thing here. Orient that this way, so that'll go in there like that. And these guys will just squeeze. I gotta get my hand back further. We'll just squeeze them till they can't squeeze them no more, and let it come off. Now this, you can see, also has a good indentation in the back and the front. This is almost like a triangular pattern in the wire. I don't know if you can see that or not. And then let's do the insulated. Now this insulated crimper has a stop on it, but I'll just spin that out of the way so you can see what's going on here a little bit better. Alright, so we'll just line that up in the die, and this is a flat, so all we do is squeeze that till we can't squeeze no more and let go, and it comes off. And here again we can see, now this puts marks in the insulation of the vinyl of the crimp, and you can see here again really flat, but it still curled the crimp connector inwards, so that really holding well. Same here, we have a good triangular pattern on the wire. The wire's actually basically what you want to do is put a twist in the wire so that the wire can't easily pull out. It basically has to twist around something to do that. So there's that style. This one here was the Channellock hand crimper. You can see we have more of like a CU shape in this crimp here, but that's a good solid crimp, nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And then here, you know, we're still flat. We bent these tangs inward. Very important. That hooks everything into the wire. Nothing wrong there at all with that crimp. That's a good solid crimp. And then this guy here, yeah, it's kind of squeezed together. It may hold for a long period of time, or it may work loose. This just doesn't have the confidence in it that I see with the other crimpers. So I mean, yeah, it'll squeeze it and it'll crimp it, but it doesn't really, you can see, I mean, there's a considerable visible difference here between the three crimps, and one of them is considerably better, or I should say considerably worse than the rest. I think, you know, for the money, this is a great crimper to get. It does a good quality crimp. Like I say, I've done tons and tons of crimps with this thing over the years, and I don't know that I've ever had any failures. Maybe I have, but very few. These are nice crimpers. I mean, they're nice to have around. I mean, I guess ideally they should be calibrated every so often, but these are, yeah, actually there's a calibration sticker on this one here. It was due in April of 19, but it was done in April of 18. So, but yeah, these are nice crimpers. Nothing wrong with these. These are, I like using these at work if I'm doing a lot of crimping, just because of the much longer handles and the speed factor. It's a nice fast crimper to use. But again, nothing wrong with this style crimper. I would favor one with the insulated on the outside over the non-insulated, just because of what we talked about with getting in there. Arguably you would have more leverage, but I've never really had a under leverage situation with these. I've always had plenty of leverage. I mean, you see where your hand's at here and the pivot point compared to where the crimp is actually at. So I think bang for the buck, the Channellock, in between Klein and Channellock here, I think Channellock takes it. Plus the head's a little less bulky, which, potato potato. That's not really a deal breaker. But so just a short little video there on crimping. Thanks for watching.